Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday, April 24th, 2021. You are watching Rise of the Fan, brought to you by the Fan Action Nation. JoinTheFan.com. It is a community of sports fans that want to get stuff off their chests. Not about stuff on the field, but all the business surrounding the sports. I am the Hall of Famer, Aaron Phillips, and joining me, as always, is my wannabe, still in diapers, wannabe Hall of Famer, Brett Lawson.
I love how we're digressing from apprentice to wannabe to in diapers, but you know what? I'll go with it.
I was wondering if you would catch my digression.
Own the gimmick, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, still in the wrestling mode. Brett was our guest bell ringer on Thoughts Count Anywhere earlier this morning, so he is still mentally in a wrestling mood.
Got the pipes warmed up.
That's right.
Ready to go.
He was rocking his, who do we have here? Savage, and you were The Rock.
Oh, we had Kane, Cena. We had Goldust, we had John Cena. We had Sting, we had everybody.
So many personalities.
Gotta love it.
JoinTheFan.com. Go to the website right now if you'd like to. Check out what's going on. We have an opportunity here to join a nation that officially launched on the 3rd of April, 4321. JoinTheFan.com. We'll get more into the website in a little bit, but it is a community for sports fans on any level, whether you're a soccer mom and dad or you're crazy nuts and have tickets and you're a fanatic and you dress up with face paint and all that good stuff. Hey, $59.99, one-time, lifetime, has you become part of our revolutionary family here. Plus, that gives you discounts in our fan store, as well as additional discounts as more and more vendors jump on board to the fan and become part of our family. So with that, let's get rocking and rolling, man. So a lot of stuff is going on. I mean, last week you and I, we were no show last week. We were doing some research stuff, and that's why we reran a show.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back on the mic.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's some continuity here, but when we first started, we were both in the studio so often. Then we had that remote out at Angel Park Golf Course or Golf Club, so that kind of mixed it up a little bit. Then we were back. We got really excited, only to leave once more to do.
But that's okay. It was a good leave.
It was a good leave, a good quick little leave of absence. But it's almost funny how, you know, when you get into that pattern, it doesn't even feel like – it feels really like we were here a week ago. It doesn't feel like we were here 2 weeks ago. The Angel Park festivities feels like it was 3 weeks ago or even a month ago, but it just the ball keeps rolling.
Time goes.
But it's nice to be back here. And, again, coming in here a little earlier today.
Yeah, warmed you up.
It's right. Warmed me up. It's that much more homely, if you will.
Absolutely. So, listen, there's a lot of things going on in the sports world right now, and the big one is the draft. The NFL draft is this upcoming week. A lot of news going on there. Major League Baseball stuff is happening. Hockey is getting ready to go into playoff season already. I guess. I don't really even watch it until playoffs start because there's so much going on and so many teams make the playoffs. Let me ask you this, guy. I'm glad I brought that up.
Yeah, right? That's a segue for you.
When you have hockey and basketball, that pretty much half the league gets into the playoffs.
Yeah. It starts so early.
Right, and under normal circumstances, and
right.
The start of this year's season, because of what happened last year, is crazy. But what's the thought on, from a sports fan standpoint? Yeah, you want your team to succeed, but doesn't that not diminish your regular season when, look, what is it in the NBA, or even in the NFL now, 16 out of the 32 teams get into the playoffs, right? Yeah. Now we have 17 games. So does the regular season get diminished when you have so many teams that can make the playoffs?
Well, it's like that kind of thing. If everybody's special, then nobody's special, right? So if you have that many teams ultimately making it into the postseason, it does kind of dilute the significance of those higher echelon type of teams. The teams that truly can contend, whether it be for basketball, whether it be for hockey, if they're going to have a chance to raise the cup when it's all said and done, then you're going to have a little bit of a different opinion. But if your team is one of those that, the bottom bottom feeders barely scraped their way by and got in. I mean, yeah, you're going to be happy. There's a continuation of your season. You're going to be able to support your team more, support your favorite athletes more, get involved in all the festivities. But at the same time, you also have to take into consideration that our team may not truly be a playoff team.
Right.
So we see that in the NFL when you get some of these wild card teams that are barely 8-8, 9-7. And of course, now with them adding more teams, you're going to have those lines blurred almost even more. You know, those borderline type of teams that are going to get in. You have that possibility now even more so than you once had it. So we often see the results of that in that first playoff matchup when a team gets absolutely shellacked in that first round. And that's a big reason why a lot of people for the college football playoff are arguing against the expansion to 8 teams, because they believe that first round, they believe there's a significant drop-off from the gap from 4 to 8, and they believe that first round of playoff action will be all blowouts. Again, you don't really know till you see for sure, and I kind of like the fact that we have so many, and we kind of like...
We'll do that at break.
Yeah, the fact that we have so many teams makes it more interesting for conversation,
Sure.
But it may not necessarily eliminate, or I guess you could say separate, the true contenders, because there's more in the hunt now.
Do we think, though, with the NFL, the 17th game now being added to the regular season, is that not... Listen, we all agree.
Yeah.
What? Talk. You good? It worked. I don't know why. Matt had a hat on. Oh, no, he didn't have a hat on. Anyway, we got to keep the hat off because the focus was kind of messing.
Sorry, Andy. Now you can see this mug a little clearer, though. I have hat hair, but, you know, what are you going to do?
No. Now we'll just call that earphone head.
There you go.
Anyway,
I like that. That's better.
So the 17th game, basically a money grab for the owners, right?
No doubt.
But they got rid of an exhibition game in exchange for that. Total money grab. I don't know. I just think there's so many things going on that now you look at, again, these regular seasons are getting diminished. Now you get in the playoffs. The teams that make the playoffs, those teams can raise prices for playoff tickets.
No doubt.
And everything else. And, yeah, it's great that they get into the look. That 17th game, unless my Giants are here in Las Vegas playing the Raiders, I'm sitting at home, so I'm not spending the ticket.
And look at the injury report by the time you get to week 11, and then you look at it at week 14,
and
then you look at the playoff. Exactly. So when you look at the playoff picture, when things are starting to get aligned and teams are trying to really position themselves for the start of the playoffs, you know, it's that kind of thing where now it just doesn't seem. Well, I guess first of all, the players have been talking about this forever anyway, because the question is, the fans want less preseason, more action, but the players are all like, you don't realize what that does. And I think a lot of people don't realize what an extra week is going to do to their bodies, the physical toll it will take. And I think it's one of those things where we wanted more football so much, we kind of didn't realize the ramifications. And I think in that week 17 matchup, we're going to, or that 17th game, which would ultimately be what, week 18, I guess you could say, we're going to see, I truly believe, almost a preseason type of game. Yeah. Like you already see that in the games as it is for teams that are resting their starters, that have clinched the playoffs, that are set, that are good to go. Now you're just going to see that, and it's going to be that much worse than that last week.
That's like the resting issue that you have now in the NBA.
It's not like these guys are going to go all out to appease the fans, and it's not because they don't want to entertain the fans. It's because now we're thinking about the bigger picture, which is a week away. Us being in that wild card spot, why are we going to risk anything? Or if we have a first round bye even, we want to get our guys as healthy as possible, give them essentially 3 weeks of buys. Now, again, that's a whole argument in itself. If that better, I guess you could say, affects the team for the better or the worse. We've seen it happen on both ends of the spectrum where a team falls apart because the guys are rusty, but we've also seen burnout, and the guys can barely assemble a starting roster when they walk on the field that weekend. So I think that will have an immediate factor that people are so excited they have the blinders on to think that, oh, we get more football and less preseason. That's always good, right? Let's pump the brakes and wait and see.
Yeah, the quality is always going to get affected.
And when there's injuries, it always affects the quality.
And that was my concern at the beginning of last year, because the NFL season started right away pretty much without any exhibition games. It was just practice and training camp.
Yeah, right off the bat.
And there were quite a few players. I mean, Dak Prescott's injury was just I'll say a fluke because of the type of injury that it was.
The way he got rolled up.
The way he got rolled up. But, hamstrings, pulls, running backs can't, and it's just an issue that this extra steps are hurting teams, hurting fandom, because now they can't see their star player. But 16-game season, like you said, that 16th game, man, if you're ready to play, fifth string is coming in.
So
the water boy's suiting up.
So how is adding to it going to help the product? It's not. And I get that people want less preseason, but how many of you are watching the preseason anyway?
The only preseason game I would watch might be the last one.
Yeah, and I always like but this is also bias as fans. I like the Giants-Jets matchup because that's, you don't get that every year, but you get in the preseason every year, and it's kind of fun. I remember Victor Cruz had his big coming out party in that game like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get some gems. Don't get me wrong, and I get that the preseason is important. We saw that as a perfect example with the injuries and the poor performance at the start of last year.
Absolutely, and how all that affects the fans. And one thing we don't really talk a whole lot about, but we know a lot of fandom loves fantasy football, sports betting, and all that.
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic that we haven't ever really touched on thus far. So a lot of this has huge ramifications on the future. Of course, the 17th game is big for television rights, sponsors. But again, who's benefiting that? The owners.
No, that's it. The powers that be that are already benefiting from the 16-game regular season are just benefiting more from the 17-game regular season, and they think fans are going to get an extra week of top-notch, great quality football, and they're not, while the players are just going to be beaten down even more.
And they think exchanging an exhibition game for regular season game.
No.
But it's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is pad the pockets of the owners. Okay, before I forget, because I always tend to do this every show, because you should be reminding me to do this, because you know my memory at my age.
I love it. You could host three shows in the span of 3.5 hours, but can't memorize a rundown.
I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago.
Fair enough.
We have a trivia question.
Yes, we do.
What is our trivia question, Trivia Master?
Well, all right. We will get – this is actually relevant to a topic we will have later in the show. I'm looking forward to getting to this.
So is this like if you listen now, it's like an open book test for the question if they listen?
Right, yeah. If you take notes, then you'll benefit at the end,
exactly.
Right, if you put in the work. But here's the trivia question. Which NFL player currently has the highest selling jersey in the league? Is it A, Tom Brady, B, Aaron Donald, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Saquon Barkley? So I'll ask that one more time. Which NFL player currently has the highest selling jersey in the league? A, Tom Brady, B, Aaron Donald, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Saquon Barkley?
I'd almost like to say that this is like a trick question.
Right.
Because all four of those guys, I mean, Barkley maybe not as much only because he missed last season with the injury, although I am proud to say I do have a Barkley jersey as a Giants fan hanging in my closet.
And he, in his first 2 years, was a gangbuster. He just exploded with the sales.
And, of course, my alma mater.
Yeah.
And if I can ask Aaron to zoom in on this ring, because I knew you were going to bring him up as a question there, I want to show everybody a certain ring that I am wearing when Penn State played Michigan.
You and your Nittany
and beat him in the Cotton Bowl. I'm doing this for Lisa Mascari, by the way.
Fair enough.
There you go. Look at that ring. Is that cool?
That is actually pretty cool. They have a great logo. I will say that. Penn State has a great logo. And I like how they emphasize it's a mountain lion. I think a lot of people don't get that. Because they don't even know what Nittany technically is.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's fine. What is a Nittany?
As for you being an alum, you probably got annoyed with that.
No. Yeah, I did at times, but after a while, I was just like, okay, they want to learn about my school. What's Nittany?
Yeah.
Nittany.
At least they're showing some interest.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, give the question one more time, even though it's up on the screen for those who are listening on the Go Live Vegas mobile app.
You got it. So, which NFL player currently has the best-selling jersey in the NFL, or in the league, I should say? There's some redundancy for you. Is it A, Tom Brady, B, Aaron Donald, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Saquon Barkley?
The numbers are there on your screen, but again, in case you're listening to us on the Go Live Vegas mobile app, it is 702-329-6947. If you're within the United States, but we know we have fans outside the U.S., guess what? You can still participate. 855-502-4321. Now, the winner will have a choice. I'll give him a choice this week.
Oh, cool.
Of either Box from Pound for Pound, one of our great sponsors for products from the CBD stuff, the oil drops, gummies, and the salve, the rub-on stuff, or, courtesy of Hand and Stone, we still have some certificates that we can give away for a 1 hour, a 50-minute massage, totally free. It's a $99.99 value.
And we've been lucky enough, because again, when we were doing the remotes, we didn't have a trivia question, didn't have one last week, but we've been doing this pretty consistently otherwise, and we've been lucky to get answers. We've gotten some immediate calls, some immediate responses, and correct answers, so they get the prize. It's cool to see the effect.
I think the last show we did, we gave away three prizes, I think.
Yeah.
We came up with questions on the fly because we were going through it all. But
we're properly executing it. That's what we needed.
As long as we're not getting executed. Now, one of the other, we talked about the draft, and we're about ready to go to our first break, so I know you have a read to do. But we have a gentleman who will be joining us. His name is Aaron Taylor. He and I met over a year ago. Now, you and I are sports fans. Mm-hmm. But he can outdo us because he has studied the draft up and down, 6 ways come Sunday, left, right, backwards, forwards, in a mirror, on one leg, 1 foot. I'm calling him, and he better not let me down. He is our draft day aficionado.
There you go.
All right, we're going to call him Mr. Aficionado. Why? Because if we start calling him Aaron, 3 people in this studio are going to turn around and say, what?
Yeah.
So we have to call him.
2 is enough.
How about Mr. Draft?
Mr. Draft.
We'll call him Mr. Draft.
That actually,
does that work?
That's great for
You like that one?
That's great for beer advertising. Right. It really is.
Which you can then put in your Squid Cup.
There you go.
And with that, let's segue to our break.
Wow. That is brilliant right
Listen,
there.
don't try this at home. I am a professional.
Yes, sir. So wouldn't it be awesome to never spill a drink again? We thought so too. That's why we developed the non-tipping magnetic Squid Cup system. It creates a cup holder when you need it using the power and simplicity of dual magnets and micro suction cups.
And a mini Frisbee on the bottom.
There you go. Disc golf is always fun. Whether you are on the water or road, too few or too shallow cup holders will never be a problem again. The Squid Cup system features a 16-ounce double-wall insulated tumbler and an insulating 12-ounce can cooler. You can visit squidcup.com to order.
There you go. I'm trying to do my Vanna White. Pull out. You're too close. This is I usually have my bottle in here because I love this. But today I brought my tumbler. I don't know why it has a straw in
Well,
it.
I mean, you need to hydrate. It's getting warm.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And so I'm getting lazy, so I even have one with a straw in the cup. And then, of course, here is your 16-ounce. Here's a cool thing. This is magnets, okay? See? Plastic, double insulated. Give me my straight camera.
Dual magnets at that.
Dual magnets, yes.
Micro suction cups.
That's right. So check this out. Boom, magnet, boom. If you want to have a game while you're on the boat, guess what? Flip it to your friend, play Frisbee. I don't care. But this is great because it will keep everything from spilling. Okay. I believe we have Wahoo's up next. Is that correct, Mr. Producer? All right, let's hear from Wahoo's. It was 1988 when Wahoo's was started by the Lee brothers in Costa Mesa, California. They had a desire to blend their unique heritage of food experiences and bring them to the table for others to enjoy and feel more alive. With 6 convenient locations throughout the Las Vegas Valley, there's no reason for you to miss out on the great taste at Wahoo's. As if that wasn't enough, take advantage of the $2.95 Pacifico all-day, everyday special. To find your nearest location, simply visit wahoos.com.
When you think of relaxation, do you think of a massage? If not, you should. Las Vegas Hand and Stone Massage at Silverado Ranch provides professional spa experiences at affordable rates. You will be enveloped in soothing sounds and aromas on your way to total relaxation. De-stress with our full-body massage to relieve tension, soothe tired muscles, and temper migraines. You can select from many options, including CBD, deep tissue, sports, and our signature hot stone massage. Call 702-941-7833 and start de-stressing today.
Work or it's not going to work. Welcome back to Rise of the Fan. Aaron Phillips, Brett Lawson, Aaron E. on the board. And this will be the one and only time that I'll mention our guest is Aaron Turner, because if we keep saying Aaron, Brett's not going to know who the hell he's talking to.
Yeah.
So for today, we're calling him Mr. Draft.
I'll take it.
There you go. And he has studied the draft. But give a little background, because you're just not anybody off the street. You're experienced behind microphone. You've done shows. You're a big sports guy.
Right.
Give yourself a pop. Let our audience know who you are and what you got going on before we start talking about the draft.
Okay. Well, my name is Aaron Turner.
And he's got a great voice, by the way. Does he not?
Appreciate you.
That's I can't even go that deep.
He's drawing people in right now.
That's a voice for radio right there.
Appreciate you. My name is Aaron Turner. You can find me on social media as Aaron Absolute on Instagram and on Twitter. I played college football. I coached football.
Who'd you play for?
I played for Los Angeles Southwest College in L.A., and then I transferred
Linebacker.
Very little linebacker.
Oh, okay. I think you have
No, mostly defensive end and tight end.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like me at linebacker is just running.
Yeah. Now,
I hate running.
I was the same way, because I played defensive line as well, and it's like forward. I'm not going backward. I don't want to go laterally. Give me a 3-point. Let me go forward.
Yeah, I would flex out a little bit.
Right. Maybe a little zone blitz here and there. I got you.
Little zone.
I got you.
Cover.
Show some athleticism.
Yeah, I was not covering receivers though.
No, absolutely not. Where'd you transfer into?
I transferred to Grand Valley State in Michigan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was there maybe.
They're a power.
Yeah. So I was there maybe 2 years before Brian Kelly left.
I was just about to say, for those who are unaware, Brian Kelly created one of the most dominant programs in D2 in his tenure there.
Yeah, I believe it was 4 national championships in a row.
Yeah.
Then he went to Michigan.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
No, before Cincinnati,
Right,
he went
it was-
to Western Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. And then he went to Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati,
That's
then
exactly
Notre Dame.
it.
Yeah,
and that's a heck of a program. Even looking at the UFC, Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, they turned out
Absolutely.
notable contenders and champions who are great
Absolutely.
wrestlers there.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And I love it too, because I played D3 ball, but anytime you get a guy who played any basically a D. I guess you could include FCS because a lot of those D1AA, even though they're good programs, are smaller schools that no one knows about. Anytime a guy plays small school ball, it could be JUCO, D3, D2. I just love hearing stories because it's all like, hey, we play football too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How did you dive into the draft? What is your love for the draft that you studied it like crazy?
My love for the draft started with the love of the game. So loving every aspect of the game just forces you to dive into every different corner of it.
The nooks and
so
crannies.
I am the guy who will watch the combine. I'm the guy who will. I'm actually the guy who has years of draft predictions just written on paper,
Like in a binder somewhere.
Yeah, since
that's
2006.
So you've never made them public, or have you? Have you ever?
A few.
Because otherwise, we can call this the reckoning. This will be like the first official draft. You're like our draft specialist.
Yeah, Mel Kiper, beware.
That's right. There you go. Our Mel Kiper, Todd
very,
McShay.
very Mel Kiper, Todd
love
McShay
it.
type guy. I'm not ashamed of me.
Absolutely.
Aaron, if you can go to the laptop, please. I pulled up just for round one. I pulled up the draft here via ESPN, the draft order. Look, and Brett, I'm just going to throw this to you guys. The major conversation around the draft is the quarterbacks.
Yes.
No okay, that's the storyline.
Yeah.
You've got, was it 5 of them that really are the names? We know the first one's going to go supposedly.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be funny, though, if something happens in that first pick with Jacksonville that we don't get the Trevor Lawrence pick?
It would be, and the only way you wouldn't is if Urban Meyer went with Justin Fields.
Right.
Okay, from Ohio State.
Yes.
They tend to like their
from
guys.
college tend to like their guys,
Okay.
even though he didn't spend all the time with Justin Fields.
Right.
He never left Ohio State.
Yeah.
So that would be the only shocker, is if he went with the guy he knows.
And
'Cause-
Urban's always been very specific with his quarterbacks because the way he runs the spread offense,
Yes.
he needs a guy, even though he's going to run it probably a little differently in the NFL, he's going to be keen on getting his guy. He may feel more comfortable with Fields, even though it'd still be a shocker.
Yeah, it would still be a shocker.
Yeah.
Now, I want to mention Jacob, a good friend of the show and works with us behind the scenes. He says his sister went to Grand Valley.
Oh,
So it's small
good
world.
job. Good
so
job.
I want to just let our audience know that generally we don't talk a lot about stuff like this on the field stuff, but we want to talk about this from the fan perspective because what's about to happen could be franchise players for teams that could shake things up for teams and their fans.
Yeah.
Ticket prices. You have a trivia question about jerseys. We know jerseys aren't cheap to buy.
No.
The effects of what happens with the draft is more than what's on the field.
Oh, yeah.
This is
You're
like
building your business.
This is your foundational pieces that affect the team on levels beyond the field.
It's not even a metaphorical investment. It's a literal investment.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
All right, so
Absolutely.
let's talk about. All right, so we have Jacksonville. Give us your theory on the quarterbacks in your mind. Give us the order and who you think and how the quarterbacks of note are going to go in the draft.
Okay, for me, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence have been 1 and 2 since their junior year of high school.
Yes.
There is no doubt about that. When it comes to the NFL, people like whoever they like.
Sure.
I still have Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Then after that, I would, as far as quarterbacks, I would not go Mac Jones. Everybody is in love with Mac Jones.
And they're picking him to go to San Francisco at the 3
I
pick.
believe that's a smokescreen.
Okay.
You don't move up in the draft to take average. You move up into the draft to take dynamic.
Okay.
Okay. Mac Jones couldn't be dynamic if he worked as a pyrotechnic. He could not. He could not be dynamic if you couldn't coach him.
But
to be
he's your
dynamic.
typical pocket passer style based on what everybody's talking about, right?
Matt Jones would be a great draft pick 12 years ago.
Oh. Okay.
Him and Trask from Florida.
Okay.
They're
Great
traditional pocket passers. Okay. Let me simplify this. Mac Jones is basically, and this is a compliment, even though people don't think so, he's Rich Gannon. You would not move up in the draft to take Rich Gannon 3 overall. You just wouldn't.
I like what you're saying here. You're basically saying that Mac Jones isn't necessarily going to be a bust. He could have a fine career. He's not a guy you move up
You
for.
don't
That's where
move
people
up
get it
for Mac Jones,
misconstrued.
yes.
I like that clarification.
Him going to the Patriots would be perfect. It's a
Right.
2 tight end set, 2 receiver
Right.
set. We're going to run the ball
Right.
65% of the time.
Right.
Him going to Washington with
He
Ron
needs
Rivera.
he's more of a manager of the game style.
Yes,
Just don't
quarterback.
mess it up.
Yes,
Right.
He's more of a Rich Gannon, Kirk Cousins type guy.
Okay.
You don't move up for average.
Right.
I mean, he's white bread.
Right.
When's the last time you've seen Wonder Bread at the store?
Yeah.
since I've been eating wheat for the last 4 years.
Exactly. You have not.
I see it, but I have to walk by it.
And this happens sometimes in the draft. Again, Mac Jones, even during the midseason, had decent grades. He had a decent outlook, a projection. But as we got closer to the college football playoff, and once the Heisman talk started heating up, and again, a lot of that is the benefiting off the production of Devontae Smith. But it really goes vice versa too.
Absolutely.
So I think he got maybe not more credit than he should, but credit that otherwise wouldn't be there. And because of that, people kind of want to overstate his abilities as a prospect.
As we approach the top of the hour, we still have a couple of minutes. Please, we just popped up the trivia question since we're talking about NFL and quarterbacks and players. Why don't you give that a read?
Absolutely. So which NFL?
Don't you even know the question? You're looking up at the teleprompter.
I know.
First of all, you got a teleprompter right there.
I can't believe I've never done that before too. That's how
I threw you off. I looked up and then made you look up.
It's funny how the eyes just lead you. Anyway,
now you're a diaper dandy.
I know, right?
I got to use
I love I'm building a portfolio here, only to pull the Cardinals sin, right? Anyway, what's next? Clearing my voice on the mic. Anyway, so which NFL player currently leads the league in jersey sales? Is it A, Tom Brady, B, Aaron Donald, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Saquon Barkley?
Numbers are on the screen right there, 702-329-6947. Your choice, pound-for-pound products. That's CBD stuff to make you feel better. And along those lines, to make it feel better, we have massage certificates available for 1 hour massage and $99.99 value at Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa over on East Silverado Ranch. Your choice. First caller, no hoops to jump through. You just have to call and get the answer right. No answers in the chat room. They will not be answered, or hopefully you don't put it in there. We want you to call in and participate in the show. Now, we're talking about jerseys, and this is something that it also is going to affect everything. What's with this new rule of number changes? What gives with this? Are you kidding me? Why do you like it?
I like it. One, is going to bring more fans to the game, and then it's going to increase jersey sales. Think about it like this. If you're a fan of Derrick Henry from the Titans,
sure,
you're going to buy his new jersey when he switches to number 2.
Yeah.
You're going to buy it.
All right, maybe on the offensive side, I can agree and accept jersey number change, but for a quarterback, isn't that going to be a nightmare for the defense with calling their signals, who's hot, who's this? Because one time it's 2, the next it could be the same guys in a different jersey. Explain it to me. I don't get it.
Okay.
Where did this even come from? Why did the jersey change thing become an issue?
It's because a big reason why is because in college, essentially, certain positions, offensive line is essentially the only position where you're in college where you're limited. On the defensive side, you could wear practically anything. Quarterbacks are limited as well, but you see all kinds of numbers across the spectrum in college. There have been complaints in recent years of players coming out not being able to get numbers that are in the parameters of their position. Okay. They slightly tweaked the rule a few years ago because a lot of linebackers wanted to wear numbers in the 40s, so they modified it to where now they could. But for the most part, those single-digit type numbers, skill position numbers for defensive linemen and stuff like that, that was taboo. Now, again, some stuff is still set in stone. You're still going to see offensive, defensive linemen wear those higher numbers. Right. But now you may be able to see, like Reggie Bush, the number was number 5 was so iconic. And when he changed to 25, a lot of people were kind of bummed about that. Yeah. So a big reason for me is really the carryover that you're going to see. Again, for quarterbacks, for kickers and punters, it doesn't matter. Right. But for receivers and for running backs and for even tight ends, it's going to make a difference. I'm curious to see how it'll affect jersey sales immediately because I don't think you'll see a huge spark initially. But over time, I think you will. I think over time you will.
I think you're going to see a huge spark immediately.
I think it depends on how many guys actually change their numbers. We have to see.
Oh, they've already
because Derrick Henry was 2 in college. He had to tack it on.
Ezekiel Elliott's already changed his number.
Juju Smith-Schuster is talking about 9. Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott's a big one.
What was his number in college?
He was number 5, was it?
5 or 15. I know he's going to 15.
It was 15.
See, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that because that's still within the range of what a quarterback would wear. I don't want to see a quarterback wearing 99 on his back.
The quarterbacks aren't going to do that.
But I'm just saying, I'm going far extreme. So I get that they can do that within the spectrum of their number range.
Yeah.
To me, it just, and again, I'm old school, okay? Because Brett tells me I'm old, so I'm old school.
No, you just emphasize how I'm young. It's like, it's my,
Let me answer it for you.
Yeah, sure.
So you have to look at it like this. In high school and college, players wore a variety of numbers.
Sure.
It's going to be the same thing. You're still wearing blue. They're still wearing yellow. You're still going to know who the other team is. Imagine Ray Lewis. If Ray Lewis changed his number to 0, would you forget that's Ray Lewis?
No. However,
and he's still standing there in the middle at Mike Backer. You're going to know. If he changes his number to 8,000, that's Ray Lewis.
So let me go back to somebody in my era.
Okay. Okay.
The great Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Right. We're
He is
56.
identified with
Yeah.
number 56. If he were to want to switch to 12,
Yeah.
I'd be totally unhappy with that because then I know for me as a fan, obviously it's a money grab. I think that's behind this. Like we talked about before, yes, fans are going to buy into the different numbers. It's now jersey sales. What does that mean? More money for the NFL, blah, 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 blah. And it never trickles back to the fan because we're paying those prices.
That's
But-
that's why I think skill positions are going to be the one where you really see the effect.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because I think
I have no
think-
problem with skills.
I think you're going to see guys essentially just drop a digit. You know, even Julio Jones was 8 in college, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, what if he's 11? That's only 3 ticks up.
Yeah.
But what
Right.
if he wanted to go to a single digit and dropped it to 8?
But was it
That
was 8?
works.
But was somebody else wearing 8 on the team? Because how many times do we
It's-
hear? Well, look
I
what
think
happened.
Calvin Ridley maybe.
Look what happened.
No
at-
one who
Yeah.
matters.
Well, not like Julio Jones. not Julio Jones.
So I was just going to say though, if we
Yeah.
go to Tampa Bay,
Uh-huh.
okay, 12 was worn by I can't think of the wide receiver's name. It escapes me this moment. This is a senior moment. That
Yeah.
was one of their main wide receivers.
Yeah, Godwin.
Yeah.
Chris
Godwin,
Godwin.
thank you.
And he switched it to 14.
Yeah.
So he
Right.
was willing to switch. So
Yeah.
and I'm sure the old stories. I'll pay you this. I'll give you a
Yeah.
watch. I'll buy your boat. Whatever
Yeah.
to get the number.
Yeah.
But if the number's already taken, I have no problem with them negotiating the change. So the old player has to wear a new number. That's cool. I'm okay
Right.
with that. But again, I'm going to go back. Lawrence Taylor is iconic at 56. I would never, ever want to see Lawrence Taylor wear any other number because that's his iconic number. That identifies him. In my mind, when you say number 56, he's the first name that comes to mind.
I think maybe because since a lot of the players who are doing it are still earlier in their careers,
Yes.
their college number may be still more popular than their pro number
Yes.
is. I think that's the big takeaway here.
Let's give Mr. Draft the last
Absolutely.
comment here before we go to break.
Absolutely.
Right. So I was
Have
also
at
going
it.
to say that players like Lawrence Taylor, I don't think they would change their number because the brand is 56. I don't think Dion would change from 21 because the brand is 21. So players who have a brand at that, I mean, he would maybe number
Sure.
2. But players who have a brand at that number, I don't see Aaron Donald going to number 4.
Right.
His brand is at 99.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about it on the defensive side. And again, it would be more of the younger players.
Okay, and that's fine. And like I said, I have no problem with the skill players changing numbers.
Yeah.
Because very rare. I can't even think of the last jersey I have in my closet that was a wide receiver. I mean, the only skill I have quarterback jerseys from the Giants quarterbacks over the years.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I have Barkley.
Yeah. And Barkley's has the same number he had in college.
Correct.
So he's not
so,
changing.
so for him,
Yeah.
he's not changing, and so
Right.
it's easily identifiable. All right, with that, we're going to step aside for a top of the hour break. You are watching Rise of the Fan, and that is Mr. Brett. This is Mr. Draft, Mr. Aaron Turn. It's the only other time I'll use your name.
Appreciate it.
We have a draft. We have a trivia question on the screen, which we will continue when we come back on the other side right after this.
When you think of relaxation, do you think of a massage? If not, you should. Las Vegas Hand and Stone Massage at Silverado Ranch provides professional spa experiences at affordable rates. You will be enveloped in soothing sounds and aromas on your way to total relaxation. De-stress with our full body massage to relieve tension, soothe tired muscles, and temper migraines. You can select from many options, including CBD, deep tissue, sports, and our signature hot stone massage. Call 702-941-7833 and start de-stressing today.
P4P Therapeutics has created high-quality CBD products from 100% organic industrial hemp and are tested for purity and potency. Our products were specifically formulated with boxing champ Mikey Garcia in mind, as well as maximum benefit for recreational athletes and all consumers. From gummies and gel capsules to lemongrass soothe bombs to potent CBD oil tinctures, we have you covered. To see our entire line of available products, visit pfpcbd.com and place your order today.
Boy, Mikey Garcia, reminding you, pound for pound CBD, all natural, effective.
Keeping it rolling here. Rise of the Fan. Aaron Phillips, Brett Lawson, Aaron Turner, and we made a consensus, quick little judgment call that he's Aaron Turner, in terms of the professionalism
Yeah.
in real life, right? But in actuality, he's the draft guru. He's
Mr. Draft.
Mr. Draft.
We'll take
I love it.
There you go.
And he's
take it.
and he's joining us now. Great stuff in the last segment. Always like to talk to a fellow draft guru who likes to dive into the nooks and crannies and break down the film, crunch the numbers, and do everything else needed in this process. This is actually something Aaron and I have talked about because this time of year in the sports calendar, things start to heat up a little bit. And this is probably my favorite, looking at all sporting events, it's my favorite event that isn't a competition. Even though in a way it is, but in terms on
I
the
like
field,
that. I
it's
like
my
that.
favorite without question. I love the evaluations, I love the pros, and I love the cons. And every year it seems like quarterbacks are the the focus of the conversation.
Always.
Sometimes it's warranted,
Always.
sometimes it's not. This year it's definitely warranted with a generational talent
Mm-hmm.
like Trevor Lawrence. Now, obviously, I think what you said in our last segment before we went to break is spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields have been the two guys since their junior years of college. Like before we even, or even in some cases high school,
yeah.
right? High school. And Fields, when he was in Georgia, a lot of people even had these expectations for him. They just had to wait for him to get his time, which is why he transferred.
Right.
So my question for you is, with so much question on Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields initially, we have seen in the past few weeks now, not even months, guys like Mac Jones and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson get a lot more popularity and a lot more hype in the conversation. Do you think in the process that has diluted the overall profile of a player like Justin Fields?
No, what it is, it's kind of like what they call fatigue.
Yeah.
How people will give the MVP to somebody other than LeBron because they're tired of giving it to LeBron.
Yeah.
Same thing with Michael Jordan. They gave it to Karl Malone just because they were tired of talking about Michael Jordan. When it comes to the draft, people get tired of talking about the number one guy.
So they shift topics.
And then they go, hey, the number 3 guy is great too.
Yeah.
We had the same thing with Andrew Luck. He was clearly the second coming of John Elway.
And then RG3
And then all of a
got-
sudden, let's talk about RG. Now, RG3 was great in college.
Yeah.
But he was not better than Andrew Luck. But to keep you watching, keep you clicking.
Conversational purposes
yeah,
only.
people start telling you, oh, RG3 could be better. No, he
Like,
couldn't.
think about it. Yeah.
Oh, if he tapes his ankle, no.
Especially when
No.
they have like good numbers at a pro day, they throw
Yeah.
well. I remember a
Yeah.
few years ago, Blake Bortles had like a really good pro day, and he shot up the draft boards, and we saw how he turned out in
totally
comparison to other
overrated.
quarterbacks
Totally
of that
overrated.
class. So you were mentioning during the break, because I wanted to get your take on Justin Fields, and I agree. Coming into college, even before he was at
Yeah.
Ohio State, you knew he was going to be the guy. Not to the degree of Lawrence, but you knew he was a
Yeah.
legit prospect. Looking at some of the other prospects who have surfaced again more recently, like a Zach Wilson, a Trey Lance, and Mac Jones, you briefly mentioned Mac Jones and how he just isn't a guy who
He's
you
not.
need to move your position for,
No.
even if he can be a good player. Who's a guy who you think may be worth moving position for? Or is there anyone else who, like Mac Jones, you think is overrated?
I would move up for Justin Fields,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering that the Jets appear to be locked into Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I would go Justin Fields at number 2. So because the Falcons don't necessarily need a quarterback right now, Justin Fields could slide. Now, I have San Francisco not taking Mac Jones, but taking Trey Lance.
Okay.
And there's a few reasons why I have them doing that.
That's key.
Trey Lance he's been running a pro-style offense his entire career in college. It's the same offense that was ran by, forgot his name now.
Carson Wentz?
Carson
Right.
Wentz. And if you love that pro-style offense then, you love it now. And then Trey Lance is the only quarterback in the draft who called his own audibles and was calling out his own defense that he saw. Everybody else was just running the offense. He was calling the offense. There's a difference in football.
Huge
Sure, he's
difference.
managing the game on the
Especially
field.
when you can do
Yeah.
it at the college level
Right.
before you even enter the league.
And
Right.
he did it at the line of scrimmage. So something like that is very academic, which is going to work very well in Frisco. Also, he doesn't have to play right now. Their plan is to play Garoppolo. Hopefully he stays
If
healthy.
he's there, yeah.
And then it increases his trade value. It also gives Lance time to grow in the system and then take over next year.
And I also like what you said, because so much of it is off what the last thing you saw was. The reason why I think Justin Fields has kind of come back to earth is because of the performance. And again, much of that was out of his control in the national championship game. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but a lot of people, even if you're a casual fan who doesn't really follow the draft that closely, let's just say you're watching the national title game, you see him. This is the guy who they believe is the second best prospect after Lawrence.
Absolutely.
He can't even beat Bama. Now, again, that's not a fair analysis,
Right.
but it's one that's going to realistically happen. So I think guys like that don't really get a fair shake. I want to. I
Go
want
ahead,
to
go
shift
ahead.
gears because we could talk about quarterbacks all day
All
long,
day.
especially with guys like Jones and Trey Lance who have really inserted themselves into the conversation. But it seems like outside the quarterbacks, the biggest debate surrounding two particular prospects anyway is between Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts, the receiver
Oh.
from LSU
Oh,
and the
love.
tight end from Florida. Now, they play two different positions, but since Kyle Pitts is so explosive as a tight end, they're forcing that comparison to
Right.
make it seem like as if he were as dominant and as explosive as a receiver.
Right.
Who do you like better between those two, and who would you draft if you were a GM?
Depending on where I am in the draft, okay, let me stop. Cal Pitts.
There you go. I was just about to say. You just exactly.
Cal Pitts, because of the problem he's going to be for a defense. He's going to be a matchup nightmare. At 6'6", 240, running a 4.4 at tight end, you can line him up anywhere. My pro comparison for him is Darren Waller.
Oh,
for the
Raiders, yeah.
He's a tick faster than Darren Waller's, but not as big.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be an inline tight end every play. He can be efficient in blocking. He's going to be more of a flex tight end. They're going to line him up in the slot. They're going to line him up at X. They're going to line him up everywhere. Depending on where he goes, he may line up at a running back just to throw off the defense.
He's like a more refined Evan Ingram in a way. Like Evan Ingram was like that great athlete who could run like a 1-through-9 route
far
tree.
better.
He's like a more solidified, refined version of that.
Yeah, but do not sleep on Jamar Chase. I actually have him going 5 to the Bengals instead of Penei Sewell because with a quarterback like Justin Burrow, you want to get him people that he's familiar with. Who did he throw to? He threw to Jamar Chase. I also
in a record-breaking year.
Yeah, I also have Devontae Smith going to Miami because they need somebody
for Tua.
For Tua, they need somebody for him. So even if they trade back, they get Waddle. They still get somebody from Alabama.
Aaron has to reel us back in here.
That's okay. I just want to do this. I want to remind everybody that you have about 15 minutes left to answer our trivia question, which is on the screen. Which NFL player currently has the highest selling jersey in the league? Brady, Donald, Mahomes, or Barkley? And I'll give you a hint. It's not the running back, because he was injured last year, so there was no reason to buy his jersey. Now you have 3 choices. You just increase your chances from 25% to 33%. Give us a call now, 702-329-6947. I also want to go back to the fan, if we can have our great producer switch over to my laptop. Great information being discussed about the draft today. If you miss any part of it, all that you need to do is go to jointhefan.com. I want you to click on the Our Voice tab, and underneath there, you will see Rise of the Fan, and all the past episodes are here for your listening pleasure. So even if you're not listening to us today, how would we know that? But even if you want to go back to catch the information being discussed, if you have a draft party, you have something going on, within the next 24 hours, you'll be able to go back to this page. This show will be up on the page there. All of our podcasts are available to learn about what jointhefan.com is, the Fan Action Nation, and all the guests we've had. With that, let's talk about Join the Fan. This is a revolutionary movement for sports fans, by sports fans. Any level of fandom, whether you're a soccer mom and dad or whether you own season tickets for 100 years and you will them to the family, if you are involved in sports and are tired of not having your voice heard, Fan Action Nation gives you an opportunity to have a seat at the table. What does it take to become a member of the revolution? It's right there on your screen, folks. Become a visionary member for only $59.99 for a lifetime membership. One time, folks. With that, you get 15% discount off any purchase in our shop. And if you want to just sort of dip your toe in the pool and kind of get a little taste of what the fan is about and what it could do for you, you can become a rebel at $19.99. That is an annual membership, $19.99 per month. You still get a discount in our shop. You want to be part of a movement that's going to give you an opportunity to have your voice heard as a fan? Well, guess what? You now have it here with the Fan Action Nation. You'll have blogs to read, of course, all the greatest. We have everything going on with our shows, topics. This is the time to get involved because tomorrow may be too late. We have a great golf outing coming up in October, our FanCon convention in 2022. More vendors are coming on board to participate. You get discounts. You can communicate with others within the world of the fandom. JoinTheFan.com. That's it now. Do it now. You have 15 minutes left. If you join within the next 15 minutes, and I know our great administrative support, Miss Sarah, is in the chat room. At least I believe that's who's putting messages there. If you join today, I will arrange for you to get one of those hand and stone certificates no matter where you are in the United States because there's 400 locations, and I will make the arrangement for you to get it. Join now within the next 15 minutes to get that. Answer our question within the next 15 minutes. You get a choice of pound-for-pound products shipped to you direct or the massage as well. With that, I'm going to step aside for our last break. And I'm going to take a breath and allow Brett to do the Squid Cup because I need to take a nap right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, make it a quick little cat nap. Siesta. So wouldn't it be awesome to never spill a drink again? We thought so too. That's why we developed the non-tipping magnetic Squid Cup system. It creates a cup holder when you need it using the power and simplicity of dual magnets and microsuction cups. Whether you are on the water or road, too few or too shallow cup holders will never be a problem again. The Squid Cup system features a 16-ounce double-wall insulated tumbler and an insulating 12-ounce can cooler. You can visit squidcup.com to order and find out more.
And now Wahoos. It was 1988 when Wahoo's was started by the Lee brothers in Costa Mesa, California. They had a desire to blend their unique heritage of food experiences and bring them to the table for others to enjoy and feel more alive. With 6 convenient locations throughout the Las Vegas Valley, there's no reason for you to miss out on the great taste at Wahoo's. As if that wasn't enough, take advantage of the $2.95 Pacifico all-day, everyday special. To find your nearest location, simply visit wahoos.com. All right, welcome back. Rise of the Fan. We have about, this is the final quarter, this is the fourth quarter.
I was hoping I'd get to bring us back in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, take us out, bring us back in. So
it's like graphics. All right, and we are back. Rise of the Fan, wrapping it up here. Aaron Phillips, Brett Lawson, Aaron Turner, and that is how you hijack a show, ladies and gentlemen.
you know what, let me tell you something. You know, you're doing this for 15 years, you get into a pattern. But what's going to be interesting on Twin Brothers at the top of the hour when Neil and I do this, he doesn't know this unless he's listening right now. He's going to bring us back a couple of times, and we're going to see what he does in the hot seat of bringing a show. I don't think he's done it, but except for when he's done a show by himself.
Did he also look at the monitor ever? I could see Neil like just reading over his
No,
shoulder,
you know what? I'll give you a little secret. The monitor you're looking at right here has been put up courtesy of Aaron because of Neil.
That's the Neil
because
Portnoy?
Neil commented that he doesn't have I could see that one, and I've got the views. That's exactly why that monitor was put up, was because Neil commented on it.
So logically, what do? Look over my shoulder.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's right. Forget the monitor that's ahead of you. Let's just make it look like this. So, anyway.
So, you actually mentioned Baker Mayfield coming into the show today, and that was a topic that you've mentioned the past few days because that's been a headline that's kind of gained more and more weight.
Yeah.
Again, now that we're getting closer to the season, free agency is in the rearview mirror, but the draft is right ahead of us. What are your thoughts on the Baker Mayfield situation?
Look, the thing with him is he led the team to the first winning season, and you know what they did last year is tremendous. And people were concerned that they still have not been sold on him.
Yeah,
because all of his first cut was 3 years now he's in the league, right? I mean, I've lost count, but
this will be his fourth year.
This will be his fourth year. The first 2 years, I think we can all say he certainly did not live up to expectations at the best, even with OBJ. He just had him this past year the first time.
Yeah.
So look, that lineup having Odell Beckham. In the lineup certainly helped him. They had a great running game. A running game helps quarterbacks, which is what you just talked about. You don't have a quarterback. If you had a running game, you don't want the quarterback to mess it up.
And a phenomenal offensive line.
So, you know what? Did the Browns really have a choice in not signing him up for this final year? And what's to it?
Everything clicked with him, right?
For me, it's more of what they call a prove it year. If this
make or break type of thing?
Yeah. So let's see what you do. We know you have immaturity issues. We know you've done too many commercials. You've admitted after shooting 15 commercials you were 20 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
So you were a pudgy guy to begin with. You know, you drink beer at games on TV.
Yeah.
So
you had a reputation of coming in not as someone who doesn't care, but someone who may like to have fun in other areas.
Right. And then the personality is a little too brash to be unproductive.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense to make him continue to prove it.
Yeah.
The funny thing
don't
is,
get lackadaisical. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The commercials he does, though.
He does a good job.
He's funny.
He's good.
He's got a future in front of a camera, not playing sports down the line if he wants it at some point.
Mahomes is a little shaky, you could tell.
Yeah.
He could get better. I think he will. Mayfield's a natural. He'll end up in
those commercials with his girlfriend in the car, forgot my phone, and it's terrific.
Yeah, there's actually talk of him taking over for Jeopardy.
Oh, wow.
There's fans
giving him
the Jeopardy job instead of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
There are fans pushing for it.
Yeah, because there's been a few guys who have popped up in like petitions and all that in recent.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton got me hyped.
Yeah, now that to me works.
That's great.
Reading Rainbow to Jeopardy?
Oh, my
God. He would be great. He would definitely be great for that.
And we haven't seen him in a while. It'd be awesome to have him resurface.
And I submitted my resume, but my phone hasn't rung yet. So folks from Jeopardy, come on. Okay,
right.
It would be interesting to see if he does it, but I don't think he's established enough because of the extra baggage.
Yes.
To have a position like that yet.
Right.
We know Aaron Rodgers, is there, but I think LeVar Burton, with all of his love for knowledge and wanting to teach kids and all of that, why has he not already been named?
Yeah.
The
why
host?
is this a debate still? Just sign it, set it in stone.
You know what it is? It's kind of like the draft almost, or when people throw out a name just to see how people react. It's kind of like with
like what you mentioned at the beginning, kind of like how you say, but sure, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are good, but have you seen this Mac Jones guy?
Yeah,
right.
So people are throwing out the names of LeVar Burton, Aaron Rodgers, the guy who won I don't remember his name, but he won
Yeah,
a lot.
Jennings.
Kenny
Yeah.
Jennings.
Jennings.
Yeah, Ken
They
Jennings.
throw out these names to see how fans respond, and then whoever gets the most
Right.
response, that's who
That's who
they're
they're
going to
gonna
go
go
with.
with. Absolutely.
They
So
wanna
that-
target
that's
the
why
demos.
they haven't named anybody.
Yeah, get that
Right.
demographic.
Yeah.
So I think the situation with him is they really didn't have a choice. If they had a solid choice for a replacement quarterback thus far, would they have not signed him? And like, could they have traded for Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
No.
You know, I mean, no. But what I'm saying
Like
is,
hypothetically, right?
hypothetically. So
Imagine.
I'm saying they signed it. They
Yeah.
extended him. They're honoring the last year of the contract or the fifth year or whatever they did. Whatever it is, they almost didn't have a choice. There really wasn't a move that they could have made comfortably that might have gotten them better. We know there's better quarterbacks out there. Look, Daniel Jones from my Giants are in the same position Mayfield is, and he's done far less than Mayfield, but they're calling this for him a make-or-break year with the
Yeah.
Giants for the same reason.
And it's not like how it once was.
No.
You have to produce in those
You have
first
to
4
produce
years.
right away.
Because then again, like the school of thought is that
Right.
for those 4 years, you overload your roster, you get your quarterback for the cheap. But the problem is, since these quarterbacks now are coming out of college, and there's like such a little gap now because a lot of it's with the systems being
Right.
adapted to be more college friendly. A lot of
Absolutely.
it just with the talent. As we've talked about, the Justin Fields and the Trey Lances of the world, they're no longer question marks. That's the standard now.
Yeah.
Mac Jones and Kyle Trask, they're not the standard.
No.
So when you take those things into account, there's going to be front offices frothing at the mouth that much more to get these guys signed because now you can't afford to let them think, oh, I could go here because I'm a baller. I don't need to wait till I'm 4 years in my run.
Right. If you have a good couple of years, then you're pretty much writing
You're
yourself
locked.
for the future.
Yeah, whether it's there or somewhere else.
I have one final question on the draft. We're talking about these high draft picks, the quarterbacks, and everything else. Give me a sleeper pick that someone has no ideas out there per se that could make an impact on their team. And I bring that up. Let's talk about Tom Brady. He's one of our answers, right? He was what, a 12th round pick, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was like whatever. Yeah.
All-time great steal.
And look what-
199, and
Yeah.
he won't let us forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. I mean,
not
but
kidding.
even for Giants fans, Phil Simms was out of Morehead State,
Yeah.
which is a school now that doesn't even exist.
Victor
Right.
Cruz was undrafted.
Right. So give me an idea of a sleeper pick of the 259 picks, other than Mr. What do they call the last pick?
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Give me somebody.
At what position?
Anything. The
Anything.
first one that comes to mind.
Just
I don't care.
on your radar.
Somebody who could creep up into the first round would be Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M.
Okay.
I compare him to Marcus Mariota.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah, so he may go up to somebody like Washington.
Okay.
That would be a good fit. The running backs, okay. The running backs are going to be a lot of the sleepers, and then there are going to be a few receivers out of small schools like Purdue and North Texas.
Okay.
Look for guys in those schools to make an immediate impact on the offensive
And what
end.
round do you think those guys would go? Second, third? They're not first round picks. Fourth round? So they're deep picks.
Yeah.
But that's
That's-
often the difference in championships.
yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
those are the guys
Yeah.
that are found that nobody knows about
Right.
that gets picked, and all of a sudden you're talking about them as Pro Bowlers.
Absolutely. Look at Max Crosby, who was a fourth round pick
At Eastern Michigan, right? Yeah.
No, I think it was a school lower than that. I think it was was it Eastern Washington or?
I think it was. I think
Was it Eastern
it was an
Michigan?
FBS, but it was
Yeah.
it was a MAC team, so they were like bottom feeders.
Yeah,
of the
so
FBS.
somebody
Yeah.
like him.
Bottom
I wouldn't
feeders?
say
Hey,
bottom
I love. The
You can
MAC.
send your emails to
I
not
did
saying
not
bottom
mean to phrase it
feeders.
like that. I meant strictly by their placement within FBS.
Notice
I
how we
would-
all moved away.
Yeah, right.
Notice how
Hey, I give it. If I got a full ride to a MAC school, I give an arm and a leg. I love the MAC. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Wednesday night matches. I'm not saying they're a low tier conference. I'm saying comparison.
Check
to everyone
under
else
his
they
desk if he has tap shoes on
I know,
right now,
right?
because he's
I
trying
know,
to tap
right?
his way out of this one.
The second I said it to him, I'm like, God, I'm gonna.
That's
people
right.
from-
You know.
People from Ohio and Michigan are going to hate me. I'm
That's
so
the
sorry.
worst feeling when you put a comment out there that you know you wish you could pull back.
Right.
And it's when it's technically true because they're considered
Right.
the low tier
Sure,
program of
sure.
FBS, who are still better than all the other
Sure,
schools in
no,
the
absolutely.
Because
Oh, yeah.
we're the bottom feeder.
All right.
Yeah,
Especially
because
me.
you don't know us.
Yeah, exactly. I played at Cornell College, not Cornell University, Cornell College. So there you go. That puts it in
Gotcha.
perspective.
Right. That was in the same division as the Sisters of St. Teresa's, wasn't
Exactly.
it? Okay.
So point proven.
So we only have a couple of minutes left, and I want to get your take on the fan. Okay, you and I were
Absolutely.
talking about this when we were outside before the show. You follow the fan, you check the website out, and things like. You're a sports guy. You're a sports fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what is the intrigue to you about joining becoming a member and participating in a fandom community like the fan? Tell us what that could mean for you as a fan and others who are watching.
It's a platform, kind of like your social media platform. The fan is a platform that will give you an opportunity to voice your opinion on prices, ticket sales, jersey sales, your stadium. If it's time to redo your stadium, update your stadium. A lot of stadiums now trying to figure out how to add more Wi-Fi, how to put more TVs into the stadium, but also keep you involved in the game and going to the game.
Yeah.
A lot of stadiums trying to figure out, do we put bookies
That's the big one.
at the
Kiosks
stadium
for the sports books. Yep.
Yeah, so they're trying to find ways to keep fans coming to the game, and this platform will help you voice your opinion on how to do that. Because having a bookie at the stadium all around the country might help some people come back to the games.
Right. And,
So-
and also,
Well said.
why your water fountains are turned off and you got to pay $20 for the nip bottle of water. I mean, come on now. And that's a story that Andy Coppell, the founder, is a true thing when you realize, look, as a fan, he had a vitamin or whatever, and all he wanted to do was to go get a sip of water. No fountains. He's a Golden State Warrior fan, and
Yeah.
he went to the new place and
Oracle.
no water fountains, nothing. And he was, other than putting his mouth under the fountain in the men's room, he had no choice but to buy a bottle of water
Right.
that I think was like $7 or $8 for the small bottle. And he's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
And a revolution was sparked from that.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That's
So-
why I always date a woman who carries a big purse. You put all your water in her purse.
But now you can't.
The movie theater strategy, I like that.
But now
The
you
movie
can't
theater.
walk into stadiums with that stuff because now
Yeah.
they search it and they'll
Right.
take it away from you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really like your hands are truly bound with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So join thefan.com, and I know you're going to become a member of the revolution real
Absolutely.
quick. I mean, I know you've been checking things out. We
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it on Facebook. But as a big sports guy that you are, and the voice that, literally the voice, but the position you have within sports, you suffer from these things just like the rest of us do. And I
Absolutely.
think your membership would carry a lot of weight to become a member
No
with
doubt.
us. We're running out of time. Aaron, Mr. Draft, it's been a lot of fun having you here today. We'll do this again in the future. We'll have you on throughout
Sincerely
the year for
hope so.
sure. So maybe we'll make him like a special correspondent for
Yeah,
something.
I love
maybe
it.
a post-draft like recap thing
Yeah.
next week or the following week when it's all done.
Yeah, man.
We can do that.
The analysis is great, and like I said, I'm just a nerd for that stuff.
Oh, yeah, love it.
And each year gets better and better because the stuff that these guys, the scouts and the evaluators use, it becomes more out in the open, more public. So
Absolutely.
now people are kind of, I guess you could say, immersing themselves in the draft process
Yes.
as well.
So let's do this. We only have a couple of minutes. The trivia question was?
We got to follow it up. Yeah. So who is?
We're gonna have to
leading-
give the answer 'cause
Yeah,
we're out of
absolutely.
time.
So who is leading the NFL in jersey sales?
Not who you think.
As of right now, is it A, Tom Brady, B, Aaron Donald, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Saquon Barkley?
Well, we know it's not Barkley. I gave
Nope.
the hint to get rid of Barkley.
And it's not going to be Aaron Donald as much. I mean, I believe he's the best player in the game, but and people like D tackles, but not the same way they like quarterbacks. So it comes down between A and C. Now, should I give the answer?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
because
do it. Yeah, the
out of
clock's
time.
ticking. It is actually C, Patrick Mahomes. Last year at this time, Tom Brady was still number one. He had been number one for a decade and a half. Finally had his streak snapped by Mr. Mahomes, and he got the ultimate retribution by beating him in the Super Bowl.
There
But
you
as
go.
of right now, Mahomes is number one. And a quick follow-up, speaking
Yeah.
of Tom Brady, because we were talking about briefly mentioned the rule changes regarding the jersey numbers.
Right.
He actually had an opinion, and I love it. Tom Brady finally lightens up after nearly 20 years when he finally moves to Tampa. Right?
Right.
We see the lighter, more fun side of
Yeah.
him, and yet here he is with the "get off my lawn, kids" type of approach. He says, and you may find this interesting, Aaron. Good luck trying to block the right people now. He posted this on his IG, his Instagram, with an image of the new numbers that are now allowed. He says it's going to make for a lot of bad football. Also, quote tweeted, I guess you could say, the NFL Players Association with the words "dumb." And, quote, why not let the linemen wear whatever they want to? Why even have numbers? Just have colored jerseys, and why wear the same number at all? It's dumb. So there you go.
There you go.
So obviously Brady's not a big fan.
Womp, womp,
That's what
womp.
I'm so, yeah.
But you know what? That's
I'm
the
so
goat.
shocked Tom Brady doesn't
That's
like
the
this.
GOAT speaking.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like, your fifth string quarterback making
Yeah.
those comments.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's why it's so funny. He finally lightens up. We see the guy drunk celebrating with Gronkowski, throwing the
Throwing
Lombardi,
the Lombardi
and here he is
trophy.
saying, "Yeah, I don't like this number this number rule. We need to get it out of
Crazy
here."
stuff.
Even though it's in no way going to affect him.
At all.
Typical Brady.
Yeah.
I love the guy, but this is his shtick.
Yeah, as if he's not going to watch film and see that the linebacker's wearing
It's,
number
it's Tom
6.
Brady. He knows
Come
the
on,
linebacker's
yeah,
life better than the linebacker
right.
does.
He
He knows his, he knows his children. He knows his
Right.
social security number.
Yeah, the guy trying to hit you, that's who I need blocked. Yeah, block him.
There you go. Kill the man with the ball. You got to stop him anyway. All right, with that, we're going to wrap up today's show. Thank you all for watching. Mr. Brett, final thoughts.
Great stuff, Aaron. And thanks. We really appreciate you joining. Can't wait for the
Appreciate it.
draft. And we'll definitely have to talk shop once the draft passes and we see
Absolutely.
how accurate predictions are. I like some of the analysis, though. I think you may be spot on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys. I look forward to coming back anytime you guys want or need me. And yeah, thank you.
JoinTheFan.com is the website. If you missed anything that was said today or want to revisit his picks before your draft party, just simply go to Our Voice under the Join the Fan tab. Our Voice, Rise of the Fan. Just simply click on that, and all of our podcasts will be up. This show's audio, give me 24 hours to get it uploaded, and you'll see it here at the top of the list. Thank you for watching, everybody across the fan universe. JoinTheFan.com. Become a member today for only $60. One time, lasts you forever. For Brett, for our guest Aaron, Mr. Draft, for Aaron behind the board. Hopefully the next show we have a few less Aarons to talk about.
Why?
I am Aaron
We
Phillips.
got a Neil.
Have a great week, everybody. Be kind to everybody. Why is that? We're all we have. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on Rise of the Fan.